Cranky had lowered the carpet onto Percy's flatbed. "It doesn't look very magic," said Percy sadly. But as Percy puffed away, the carpet unrolled, as if by magic.
Hello everyone, Steelworks Ryan here. Now, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of a remake, or a done right episode, or an episode photo schedule, or a song, or whatever other content I do, today I'm going to be discussing the show itself. In particular, an episode of a pretty controversial season of Thomas the Tank Engine. This season in question being Season 8. Now, a lot of people say that Season 8 was the season that began the hit era of Thomas and Friends, and Season 7 is what ended the classic series. And I can definitely see where they're coming from that, because a lot of the stories do feel more like they're meant for kids and not just everyone in general. However, I consider Season 8 part of the classic series. Oh hey, you're finally gonna play with me? Hey, I gave you a pack of gum. I'm not completely heartless. Whatever. Okay, let me just turn that. There we go. Alright, continuing. If I'm lucky, I'll only lose 3/4 of my subscribers for saying that, but it's just my opinion. I don't think Season 8 was that bad of a season. It had really good story ideas, and I could definitely see a lot of these stories working in seasons like, I don't know, Season 3. And I know a lot of people don't like this season because the writing seems more aimed at kids, but I feel like they were only doing that because they wanted it to appeal to like a younger audience, and they wanted to keep it so like the older fans could still enjoy it. I feel like what the team were intending was to have this season be the same thing as, I don't know, a season like Season 3, except aimed at younger kids. Because I feel like they wanted to keep Britt Allcroft's legacy going, just in a different way. You'll see what I mean once I dive into this episode. Percy's Magic Carpet. Now, a lot of people dislike this episode because of how unrealistic it is and say that a carpet can't physically fly. However, I see it a lot differently. And I'm going to dive into that right now.
It was a windy day on the island of Sodor. Trees were blown, leaves were scattered, and Sir Topham Hatt's hat flew away.
Okay, right off the bat, these shots are absolutely amazing. I mean, seriously, how did they get those oil barrels to roll like that?
At Tidmouth Sheds, Sir Topham Hatt had news of an important special delivery. It must get to Maithwaite Station before the world-famous opera singer Alicia Botti arrives, he boomed.
Alright, I'm assuming this is a little bonus prize for Maithwaite since, you know, they won that Best Dressed Station award back in Season 5, because when you think about it, a single sign is a pretty lame prize.
They all wanted to collect the special delivery, but Sir Topham Hatt gave the job to Percy.
You know, if I were Sir Topham Hatt and I absolutely had to choose an engine to do these ridiculous specials on a regular basis, I'd probably choose Percy since, you know, he's the smallest of the group, and since he already takes the mail, like, it only makes sense. And everything he does in the day is basically what Thomas does. I'm sure he wouldn't mind the extra work.
But sir! Percy arrived at Brendam Docks just as Cranky unloaded his special delivery. Percy was disappointed to see it was a roll of carpet. What's so special about a carpet, he wished gloomily.
Maybe it's a magic carpet, me hearty, said Salty. I've heard tales of carpets that can fly. Do you know any magic words, said Salty.
You mean like please? Asked Percy hopefully.
No, Percy, said Salty. Other magic words like hey presto, hocus pocus, and abracadabra.
Cranky had lowered the carpet onto Percy's flatbed. "It doesn't look very magic," said Percy sadly. But as Percy puffed away, the carpet unrolled, as if by magic.
Anyone else notice that the carpet unfolded right after Percy said that? Now, I know what you're thinking. A, they should have tied the carpet down, and B, Percy is supposed to have a brake van. Well, A, if they tied the carpet down, the story wouldn't really be able to continue because the carpet wouldn't be able to get off unless it, like, I don't know, somehow burned the strings. And B, I guess the team just forgot to give Percy a brake van because this season seems pretty consistent with the brake vans, so I'm just assuming that Percy forgot one.
When Gordon saw what Percy's special delivery was, he sniffed louder than ever. A carpet? No wonder Sir Topham Hatt gave the job to a small engine. Just then, the wind whistled and whirled and the carpet flew into the air.
It did it again! When it was insulted, it moved!
It is a magic carpet. It can fly. That's not magic, snorted Gordon. That's just the wind. Murdoch passed by pulling a long train, and the carpet suddenly dropped onto one of his freight cars.
Okay, in case it wasn't incredibly obvious, every time somebody doesn't use their manners or insults the carpet, it moves.
Murdoch has got my magic carpet! There's no such thing as a magic carpet. The carpet lifted off Murdoch's freight car and glided onto Toby's roof. Wait! Cried Percy. And Toby didn't move. But the carpet did. It flew off Toby and landed on the track.
Nah, just kidding.
Then there was trouble. Thomas was coming, and he was on the same track as the carpet. So Percy and Gordon blew their whistles as loud as they could. But Thomas couldn't stop in time. I'll say a magic word, cried Percy. Hey, presto! Hocus pocus! Abracadabra! But the carpet didn't move. Please? Puffed Percy hopefully. Suddenly, the wind whistled and the carpet flapped. It lifted off the tracks and fluttered onto Percy's flatbed. It is magic, gasped Gordon.
No, Gordon. It's possessed. Suspicious what? Okay, I'm probably gonna make a complete fool out of myself here, but I don't care. I have to get this theory out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my theory about the magic carpet. This goes back before railways, cars, or transportation as a whole even existed. This story is about a man. What this man's name is, we may never know. But one thing about this man is that he loved objects. Rocks, trees, clouds, bushes, anything he could see, touch, feel, taste. His friends told him he was crazy, that he shouldn't be making a big fuss over objects like that. And he always replied with the same thing. Objects deserve respect too. However, one day he was admiring a rock in his hand, but he wasn't watching his step. He tripped, and the rock fell into a very deep lake. So he dove in to save it, and that was that. No one ever saw him again. His family wanted to honor him, so they did. They carved his face onto a large boulder sitting on a hill. They carved it completely round, and then carved the face on the side where it could look out over the hillside. They chose a boulder specifically since a boulder was a rock, and that was what caused his downfall. And so, they left it alone. However, over time, the face just vanished. At least 500 years later, the Skarloey Railway was established. And in 1999, a quarry was built on the land below. Everyone was on board with this idea. Well, maybe not everyone.
Boulder's moving. Don't be so daft. It can't, said the driver. But it could.
We should have left this part of the island alone.
The spirit inside Boulder was angry. Angry that the people had even thought of ripping up the rock. That the people had turned his once called home into something so industrial. So he destroyed their work and made them leave him alone. He sat up there for at least 5 years until he decided it was no longer worth living in a rock. So he moved out of the rock. And he was about to move on when in view came the docks and the carpet. The spirit heard Percy's reaction to the carpet.
What's so special about a carpet? He wished gloomily.
Realizing that some still didn't see the importance of objects, he decided to try one more time. So, as Percy puffed away, he unrolled the carpet and made himself comfortable. And every time someone made fun of the carpet, he would take off into the sky with the carpet beneath him. At last, it got to a point where the spirit had had enough and realized that it wasn't working. So he simply left the carpet on the track so it would get hit by Thomas and he could finally move away from this awful world that he was so done with. Until Percy said the magic word.
Please? Puffed Percy hopefully. It is magic, gasped Gordon. Percy puffed into Maithwaite Station. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting for him. Percy told him about the magic carpet. It tried to get away, he gasped, and caused confusion and delay. There's no such thing as a magic carpet, he boomed. But you, Percy, are on time and a really useful engine. Percy felt very proud. Soon, the carpet was unloaded and put into place. Gordon arrived with Alicia Botti. And the flower show was an enormous success.
And thanks to Percy's kind words, the spirit learned that there are good people and engines in this world who do care very much for inanimate objects. And while there will always be those who don't really like inanimate objects and torture them, he knows that there's nothing he can do about it. If they want to be that way, then they can be that way. Besides, some objects in particular deserve it. As of right now, he is still on Sodor. But one day, he might go up to heaven. You can't see him, but if you ever feel a gust of wind when you're on the island of Sodor, who knows? He might be right next to you.
And even though Sir Topham Hatt had said the carpet wasn't magic, Percy and Gordon were not so sure.
Well guys, there you have it. That's my thoughts on and theory about Percy's magic carpet. Now, whether I made a complete fool out of myself or there's more to this story than meets the eye is up for you to decide. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments, or on my community tab in case YouTube blocks this video or turns my comments off or does something else stupid, I don't know. Anyway,
I would also just like to state that not everything I say in this video should be taken 100% seriously. Like, don't try to have your item get hit by a train just because, like, somebody's not respecting objects. Like, you know, while objects are important to look after sometimes and they can mean a lot to us, what's more important is the people around us, like our friends and family. So, objects aren't everything. Your family is much more important. I just want you all to keep that in mind. But anyway, there's nothing left to do but say my catchphrase. I have nothing else to say, but goodbye, everyone.
aw crud, they found me! Cue the outro!